we've got as much bandwidth as is available in this location, and we've had our router upgraded, and so we don't know what the challenge is with live today, but we're doing what we can. So Josh, so we're not live now?
Yeah, we're just recording a regular video.
Okay, we're just going to record and upload it later. So we'll just do the best we can. So many of you know that Unity was founded on prayer, and we've been holding vigil at Silent Unity in Unity Village in Missouri 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for over 130 years. And prayer is what we're all about. It's the power of the human spirit to express the divine. And we know that prayer works. So you have ways that you can phone in, submit your prayer requests. You can submit locally on our local website, or you can go directly to Silent Unity. But whatever's on your heart or on your mind today, just know that we'll hold it in this moment, that if there's something you haven't been able to submit as a prayer request, just send that in right now from your heart. And let's close our eyes if you're comfortable, and come back to that centering prayer moment, and open our hearts and our minds, and take a deep breath in and release. We just know that in the Christ consciousness, in that connection with God, truth expresses through us and as us. And as our way shower and teacher, Jesus the Christ taught us, we are empowered to claim our good, to claim it for ourselves and for one another. And in this moment we do that. It doesn't matter what your challenge has been or is in this moment, if it's mental or physical, emotional, financial, relationship, it's all one, it's all open, and it all receives the same resounding yes, yes, yes from the universe. There's nothing too great or too small to take into Christ consciousness and to claim, as Jesus taught us, that the highest and best is done in this moment. So for your requests and your concerns, say, it is done. And so it is. Amen. The mission and vision statement of Unity of the Hill Country is to live consciously, celebrating the divine potential in all. Our daily word reader today is our board treasurer and secretary, Mrs. Patsy Sherman, and she is here with us live, and she's coming up and she will share that with us. Thank you, Patsy.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Patsy Sherman, and it's my pleasure to read the Daily Word for you today. We join the millions of Daily Word readers around the world in receiving this message. The Christ candle is lit, representing the divine nature within us all. If you would like to repeat the affirmation, if you have your Daily Word book with you, you can read along. Today's Daily Word is inner peace. Peace grows within me as I remain centered in God. Inner peace, the peace of God that my words can only begin to describe, does not depend on outer circumstances. Peace does not come from any external source. It arises from within me. At a place in consciousness, sometimes called the center of my being, peace, like all the qualities of God, waits for me to recognize and claim it. I claim inner peace when I remember the truth that God's presence is always with me and within me. As I center my awareness in the divine presence within, peace soothes my feelings, and restores order to my thoughts. I move through all circumstances with calm assurance. Peace grows within me as I remain centered in God. Every event of my day contributes to the calm peace of my soul. From Isaiah 26:3, those of steadfast mind you keep in peace because they trust in you. Again, today's daily word is inner peace.
Thank you. Thank you, Patsy. Appreciate you being here today. So in preparation for our meditation, we'll listen to this music by Melinda Wood Allen. She's a minister and obviously a singer-songwriter and performer. She's based in Dallas. You want to close your eyes and take a deep breath in. Josh, can you help me with that? It's not for some reason. Just click on the little. Just have to kind of laugh for a minute. I could edit this out, I hope. I don't know. I don't have editing software, so. But we've had all kinds of interesting moments like this during our year of being stretched technologically. So we'll just take a moment without the music and get centered. So if you will, just let your feet be still and grounded on the floor and uncross your arms. Maybe lift your shoulders and pull them back. Let them drop down. Just take a deep breath in and release. Another deep breath in and release. That breath connects us, mind, body, and spirit. And it connects us one with another. Connects us in this moment. Together we open our hearts and our minds and just gently allow our attention to fall on the breath. We notice the breathing in and the breathing out. We don't have to do anything. Just be with the breath. Just allow the breath to be in this moment. Follow the breath as it moves deeper and deeper within, to the very center of our being, our secret place of the Most High. In this place we know that inner peace that Patsy was reading about, sharing this morning. Inner peace is our true nature. Allowing our focus on the breath, we can return to this center of calm, this place of inner peace, anytime we choose, regardless of circumstances. We allow ourselves to settle here, knowing all is well feel the connectedness one with another. In this connection, we rest. We do nothing but be still in a moment of silence. From the stillness, we bring our attention back to this moment and this time. Take a deep breath in and release. Since we're having a little technical challenge, we would normally listen to the Alleluia in this moment. Just allow your heart to sing with Alleluia. And with that, we simply say thank you for this time to connect within, to know our connection with each other. And so it is. Amen. So today is an important day of remembrance. This weekend is Memorial Weekend, as we all know. And yes, it's really exciting because so many people are traveling and feeling confident to get out and about and go and be with families and gather and go to the beach or whatever it is. Barbecues, the big, holiday weekend thing. It's the official beginning of summer. But more importantly, Memorial Weekend is for that purpose, to memorialize those who've given their lives in service to our country. And this is no small thing. I think it gets lost. You see a little news story here, a little clip there. But I think when we come together, sometimes we forget, yes, we get a federal holiday on Monday, so it gives us a long weekend. But we forget to remember who we are. And who we are is because of the people who've served. People who've given their lives nobly, willingly. They've signed up. They've been in our defense. They've shown up in so many ways and given their life so that we can be here today, that we can be free, that we can choose whether we want to get a vaccine or don't, whether we want to wear a mask or we don't. I'm not trying to be political. It's just that's what we have the right to do in this country. I just want to urge you, now that I've brought it up, I didn't really intend to, but now that I've brought it up, to not let that ever be a point of contention in your relationships. Focus on the love. There will always be differences. We don't always have to go to war over them. And so today, we want to remember those people who did go to war, who served our country, and gave their lives. Memorial Day has been really a tender point for me this year. A lot of things have been coming up, and I really feel strongly that we want to make sure that we focus on what we've received and not what we've lost. We've had these wonderful people in our lives and so many amazing profiles. I encourage you to watch some of them as they share on the news about different people who have served, and the families. It affects the families who are also left behind to deal with the loss of their loved one. And if you know a family who's lost someone, reach out to them this Memorial Weekend and let them know how much you appreciate their sacrifice, because it is a sacrifice. There's a phrase that is from the origins of Africa, and different things I've read, some they attribute it to the Zulu tribe, and then some they attribute it to a different tribe, but it is definitely an African phrase, Ubuntu. Ubuntu is, in some people, frame of reference, is more of a philosophy than even a phrase, but it means I am because we are. And I wanted to share that this Memorial Weekend because I think it really speaks to the sacrifices of, I mean, not that it always has to be a sacrifice, but the fact that people have given their lives so that we can be who we are, that we can live the lives that we get to live. The Ubuntu philosophy, I am because we are. Just think about that. I am because we are. I'm not separate from you. You're not separate from people on your block. We're not separate from people who have different beliefs and make different choices. We are because they are. We can see our reflection in their face. We can know who we are through knowing other people. So there's a story about an anthropologist who heard about this philosophy in Africa. So he's wanting to study, and he goes to visit, and he meets with a little group of children. And he brings a basket of oranges, which they don't have in abundance in this particular village. And he says, okay, kids, we're going to have a little contest. And they looked at him, kind of like, well, what's this all about? And he said, I'm going to put this basket of oranges over by this tree. And when I say go, all of you race forward, and let's see who gets to the tree first. And the person who gets to the tree first wins the basket of oranges. And then you can do with it. You can keep them all for yourself, or you can share them. You can do whatever you want to. And so he waits, and the children start looking at each other, and then he says, ready, set, go. And when he says go, the children all hold hands together, and they go to the basket all at the same time. So they all equally get to share in the basket of oranges. And this was a perfect demonstration. It blew his mind. And he asked them, why did you do that? And they said, Ubuntu. They had been taught since childhood that I am because we are. And so their natural inclination was to go forward. And different children are different. You know that if you've had children, because sometimes you have a child who wants to readily share, and you have another child who wants to readily take. I have a couple of great nephews, and the oldest one, got a new game at Christmas, and the younger one got a new game, but it was the same game. He got a new toy to play with, but it was the same game. But the older one was frustrated learning on his new device how to play this new game. And so the younger boy gave his game to the brother, because the brother, who was frustrated, already knew how to play that game and didn't want to be frustrated. He didn't want a learning curve on that day. And I remember that we sat there and we said, hey, you don't have to give your game to your brother. And he said, yeah, but he enjoys it more. We said, yeah, but that's your game. You got that for Christmas. And he said, yeah, but I can give it to him if I want to. Isn't that what Christmas is all about? So children have this ability to comprehend this Ubuntu idea. But it is up to us to demonstrate that and to encourage this understanding within the children. But yeah, the joining of the hands. really blew this anthropologist's mind. He really still couldn't quite put it into perspective. He wrote a paper, he was trying to kind of communicate the idea, but it has to be something that you embrace from deep within to really understand this philosophy. And so when they try to describe it a little bit further, they say a person is a person through other people. So just think about that. A person is a person through other people. So without other people around, other people in our lives, other people to give us contrast, to choose differently from we, how do we even know who we are, right? I mean, you have to have a cloud in the sky sometimes to appreciate the sun, and sometimes too much sun to appreciate a cloud in the sky. But we're made up of light and dark, yes and no. Nothing is just the same all the time, but it comes from us to appreciate exactly what we have. You know, in the United States, the Statue of Liberty is a symbol of our freedom, our ability to choose whether it's all about me, which of course that is our national persona, right? The rugged individualist, the person who is always out for achieving and accomplishing. And that has driven our country to a phenomenal level of success. And many people come to the U.S. from all over the world because of that opportunity that's available in the United States. And whenever France donated the Statue of Liberty to the United States, it had this inscription on it when they dedicated it. It didn't come with it. It was a poem written later. Excuse me. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. That's taking in the world. This is our persona, our national persona, is a place of refuge for people who are struggling, people who are looking for a greater opportunity. But you can't only be a rugged individualist and also embrace people who are struggling. You've got to balance it. So it's great to be out for yourself. It's great to want to accomplish things individually. But you have to balance that with I am because we are. We are who we are because of those who have given their lives in service. We don't even know all their names. They're commemorated, and we can go and observe and participate in having a moment of appreciation for them, gratitude. But they gave their lives not knowing exactly how it might affect all of us. There have been many things over the years that in the United States we've had the freedom to change. We've had the freedom to march and to expand our rights or even express our frustration and our concerns. It's part of the freedom that people gave their lives for. And it's important this weekend to appreciate it. And I'm going to read this scripture. I meant to print this off so I didn't have to turn around and look at the screen. But it's from Isaiah 58, 6 through 8. And it's when Isaiah is trying to teach people proper worship. What is worship and what's not worship. And back then they were really trying to distinguish between worship from within and then the pagan and exterior worship. But it says, it is not this fast that I choose, to loose the bonds of injustice, to undo the thongs of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free, and to break every yoke. Is it not to share your bread with the hungry and bring the homeless, poor, into your house? When you see the naked, to cover them, and not to hide yourself from your own kin. Then your light shall break forth like the dawn, and your healing shall spring up quickly. Your vindicators shall go before you. The glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard. So it's what we would call sometimes love in action, right? It's not just about worshiping in a formal way. It's about your day-to-day life. It's how to show up, to take care of another, to understand that Ubuntu philosophy of we are because of the people in our lives, the people that we know, the people we've never met. We are because of the opportunities created. And we're very fortunate, having been born in the United States of America, that we have opportunities we've never even explored. But they never go away. They're always available to us. So we are who we are through others. So just hold that this weekend and remind yourself as you're getting frustrated because someone wants to grill something you don't want to eat, or whatever it is your experience happens to be that might give you a little bit of frustration. Just remember that you are who you are because of that person. You are who you are for them being in your life. You are who you are for people who are not in your life. Quite honestly, sometimes we make that decision, and we have people who are not in our life, but that's also part of the makeup of who we are. So your weekly practice this week is to practice Ubuntu, and serve another person. Pray and meditate. Spend that time in that connection. And then show up. Show up in that moment when you could buy a meal for someone, or you could offer someone something. In a moment, you could call someone, you could reach out, you could just reach over and hold a hand. There's so many ways for us to worship. Worship is not about worshiping something outside of ourselves. Worship is about showing up as the best version of ourselves. That's part of our mission and our vision here at Unity, the Hill Country. Celebrating that divine potential. The potential is expressed through our actions. And that with gratitude we acknowledge the actions of those who served. So we just want to thank everyone for their continued giving and support of Unity, the Hill Country. And we share our offertory blessing, divine love as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. We send it forth with our blessings and our love. Of course, we're not collecting an offering today because we have three people here, as we're just working through these technical challenges. But we really appreciate you for showing up. And we close, as we always do, with the prayer protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Thank you for being with us today. Namaste. Love you. Josh, we can.